Today's topic, part 2 of a 3-part series, moving from the classroom into an instructional coaching role. Hi everyone, welcome back to another 5-Minute Friday from Aduro Learning. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm doing part 2 of a 3-part series, moving from the classroom into an instructional coaching role. We began this series with part 1, in which I talked a lot about the transition from a classroom teacher that I found myself in a few years ago, and that transition into a instructional coaching role at the same school. So if you haven't checked that part 1 out, please do so. I'll pop the link on the screen right now, and I'll also pop the link to that part 1 in the comments below. Today I want to talk a little bit more about those first few months in your new role as an instructional coach. It is very, very different to being a classroom teacher, and suddenly you find yourself at the beginning of the year where everyone else is running around like a mad thing and trying to get things organised, and you kind of find yourself in this surreal situation where you haven't quite got a lot to do, or you don't quite know what to do because nobody wants to work with you because they're busy setting up their classroom and their routines and getting to know their students. And there really isn't anything for you to set up because you don't have a classroom anymore. So you find yourself at a little bit of a loss thinking, I'm sure there should be lots that I could be doing and should be doing, but I don't quite know what that is. In part 1, I talked a lot about building relationships, and this time when everyone else is busy setting up their classrooms and getting to know their students, this is the perfect time for you to be working on building those relationships, but also building your knowledge of the instructional coaching role. You can use that kind of downtime opportunity because it doesn't come along very often. You can use that time to find out a little bit more about coaching and the coaching role and things like how to have really good conversations and how to hook people into working with you and ways to record those conversations and those coaching cycles, and even find out a little bit more about coaching cycles. So that's something that you can certainly put some time aside to do that is well worth it and will pay off twofold in the long run. I mentioned before about building those relationships. Of course, you're going to be building relationships the whole time that you're in this coaching role. It's a very fine line at the beginning of the year of popping into classrooms and asking if you can help people get set up, because that's kind of not what you want people to think that you do, but it is a way that you can build a lot of trust and start building really good relationships with people if you do that sort of thing. But like I said, it is a very fine line, so be a little bit savvy about how much you do that kind of work, popping in and asking if they're set up with their maths equipment, if you're the maths coach, or if you can help set up their library, if you're the literacy coach, or maybe you're even thinking about, like, is your technology equipment working properly? Those sorts of things. You can pop your head in the door and see if everyone is doing okay, but you really don't want them to think that that's what you do and that's what they can use you for. So just be a little bit careful with that one. One tip I really want to share with you today is all about how to make it really easy for people to book time with you. And this is going to sound really easy, and if you know about it already, that's great. But what I did was I discovered the appointments in Google Calendar. And so at the bottom of my emails, I put a link. You can find the link to a calendar or your calendar in the settings of your Google Calendar. And I started blocking out times that I was available. This really helped 2 ways, because it meant that the person that wanted to do a coaching cycle with me or wanted me to come in and work with them on a project, they could go straight to that link that was in the bottom of my email, open up my calendar and immediately see the times that I was free, they were also free as well. But it also meant that I could block out in my calendar some lunch times, because when I first started out in this coaching role, I spent all of my time running around trying to connect with people and work with people, and I really didn't want to say no, I wasn't available then, because I was building those relationships with people and I wanted to be really flexible and available. But that actually ended up taking quite a toll on my own mental health and well-being, because I was always booking up that time that I really should have allocated for lunch. So by turning my calendar calendar forward facing and making it so that I could make all of the blocks of time that I was available look available to people looking at it front facing wise, then that meant that there were times in my day that I could allocate to taking a break, or times that I could block out my meetings that I was having with my administrators, or other times when I'd pass someone in the hallway and I'd already booked out that time. So if that's one thing that you do that can make your life a little bit easier as you transition into that instructional coaching role, that would be the thing that I would say, do it. Hope you've enjoyed today's part 2 of the 3-part series, and we'll see you again next time for the final part of moving from the classroom into an instructional coaching role. See you later.